Hello, Paper Cut here with a replay review of O Town Brown, who is a Plat Rus player. O Town Brown messaged on the Reddit that he's on a losing streak. He'd like someone to see his gameplay, figure out what he did wrong, which is what I love to do. In case you're wondering, I'm also live streaming this on my coaching Discord. I'm going to be regularly live streaming replays and coaching for people who want to get a taste of coaching and want to see it in action. So there's going to be a link to my Discord in the description, and you'll be able to join on, get other content to help you get better at the game and learn the game. So we want to look at what's his strategy, how's he reacting, what are some things he could do to get better, because he just feels like he's not quite understanding what's holding him back. First, as well, let's start with the map and your opponent. He says he likes to do 2 TC Rust, which is a really strong strategy. Gives you a lot of, one, it gives you immediate eco. 2, it gives you a lot of flexibility. You could fight in feudal, go castle. But you really need to consider your opponent and your map. Map here is Gorge, which allows a pretty direct route to your base, and it's kind of easy to raid. Though, if this map does get Imperial, pretty easy to wall, create kind of a choke point. Opponent being English means he has to watch out for an English rush. Or I'd say you might see an English fast castle. English love if they see you going 2 TC to try to get bowmen out and block your second TC, which means you might have to do it safe, but you really need to do it efficiently. And with your scouts, you make sure you're scouting to know exactly what your opponent's about to do, and react to that so you're not being caught out. So let's see how you do. To do a very normal Rus opening. So something I'm already worried about. You sent your first scout out real far, which is fine. And you notice your opponent very quickly came out, shot down your deer. One thing I do want to point out, he has a Conqueror thing, so he was probably Conqueror at one point. So you're playing against a pretty good opponent, which you can tell because he immediately ran down and killed the deer near you. You really need this third scout to pop out here, grab any of your sheep can, and come back because you cannot run out of sheep. You need to age up as fast as possible for the second TC. And look, you can tell you're already running low on sheep and you're rallying to wood. This might be part of your build order. You might want to get early wood, but really you want to be getting up to H2 as fast as possible, especially if you're Kremlin. Your Kremlin provides you so much safety, and you're going to run out of sheep real fast here. See, you already have villagers standing here because you only have 1 sheep left. How this really needs to run is your first scout goes far and your second scout does a close loop and gets sheep immediately to your base, so you're not having this slowdown in food, because right now you've delayed your feudal, and against a rush civ like English, that could be really brutal. You get this deer over here, this deer up here, but see, you wasted time killing this deer up here instead of just bringing some sheep back. And you get some back eventually, but it really delayed your feudal. You should be aging up at this point. Your feudal should be a lot faster. And so I'd prioritize making sure you get sheep back with your second scout. First scout, go far. To age up. Kremlin placing. Knowing the English are going to want to rush you, and you want a good TC spot, I would have placed this Kremlin a little bit more aggressively. This Kremlin doesn't really protect much. It's protecting this gold a little bit, but not really, because longbows could still shoot this gold. It's not protecting a hunt. It's kind of just protecting these berries. So this doesn't really get you anything. I would have preferred if you'd put it here. Why? Well, it's defending wood lines here, and also buffs those wood lines for gathering purposes, because it does give you 20% more return. It's like a wooden fortress. 2, I'm guessing you're going to want to put your TC here, and so having the Kremlin here prevents a longbow rush from stopping that TC. And that's the power of the Kremlin, right? The power of the Kremlin is it protects an area very early in the game, and with the Gremlins, you don't have to go units. You can just use the Gremlins to defend that TC drop. It's also kind of an inefficient TC grab here. I'm guessing you're going pure stone first, so you're not caught out, which is fine. I think it's a fine adjustment. With 3 scouts, you should literally know every single thing your opponent's doing. Nothing should be a surprise. Ooh! Abbey Kings. So in case you don't know, there is an English strategy that uses the AOE Kings. And I think the reason your opponent's doing this is because since you're a Knight Civ, he might be avoiding going longbows early on. But AOE Kings, here's what this means. AOE Kings means he's going castle. What he's going to do, I'm going to call this right now. He's going to build his king, maybe a couple horsemen, but usually not even that. And he's going to raid with this king to slow you down, and he's going to rush castle. And when he sees your second TC, he's going to go King's Palace. One way you can tell is if you have a scout near his gold, you'll be able to see if he puts like 5, 6, 7 on gold, he's rushing castle. Now you're on a timer because you have to get your second TC down efficiently and get up to castle as soon as possible. And an important thing for you is not letting his king do any eco damage, especially stopping your, especially trying to stop your TC drop. Okay, get up. Good. I like that you're trailing. Basically, the scout should chase the king. Oh, no, don't lose the king. You want to use your scout to kind of body block. And so if he dies, you can pop a set of gremlins to run out and defend your units. Or at least just bring him back so they can't be stopped. I'd move this scout up a little bit more because you're not seeing anything, right? And also he knows your scout's here, so he's going to try to avoid doing things near your scout. But look, he immediately puts 5 out on gold. I would have moved your scout up. I would have told you he's going fast castle immediately, which means he probably wants to get relics. Or he just wants to fight you in castle with better castle units. Or try to go Imperial, knowing English. So you're getting the wood, I like that you push the scout off with your scout. But now you know that, okay, you see the king here. You don't need to overreact. The key is not to overreact to this. All you need is pop gremlins. He jumps in. You run your village back. Perfect. Oh, you don't have a ticket yet. Holy shit. How long does it take for the first ticket to come in? Not fast enough, apparently. Okay, going to TC drop. Took you a little bit. You had the resources for it for a while. So it delayed second TC. Small, but it really matters. I don't like this barracks drop. Why are you dropping this barracks? Dropping this barracks because of his king? You don't need it. You have gremlins, which are good against cavalry. He only has 1 knight. This is an overreaction. Because let's think about what's going to happen here. Let's say you start massing spears. What is he going to make? He's going to make longbows. This is a win for him, because if he can get you to invest into spears, he'll just go longbows and win. All you need to do is go knights. Because if you go knights, 1, your knights will go toe-to-toe with his knights. If he beats you to castle, your feudal knights will still hold up against castle knights. So I think you going barracks is going to hurt you, because you're kind of playing to his best unit, the longbow. So I would not have gone barracks. And the question is, you need to ask yourself, what counters this? A knight counters this. A knight would stop this straight up. And then if you mass knights, you have the plus of knights can then be used to raid. You can raid his farms. You can raid his gold. Keep him on the back foot. If you go spearmen, you're also then really slow. And you're not able to react as quickly. A key thing you also need to be doing is, now that you've got your TC down, you need to go heavy onto food and gold. But also, you should start walling. The reason because is, knowing he's going the king, my bet is when he hits castle, he's going to drop stables and immediately hit knights. When I know that, well, we can predict these things based off of what our opponents start with. If he has the king, he can buff up, he can heal cavalry units near him, or any unit, but cavalry units can run with the king. So you probably want to go knights. Your scout needs to be keeping close and watching this TC timing, because when he drops his castle, which will probably be the second TC, I would start walling as much as possible, like a wall here to here to cut off this right side, a wall from here. Like, you have a lot of good little wood lines here that actually will give you space. You could wall from here all the way down to here, just to make sure he can't raid you, because that's what he's gonna need to in castle. But in see how having the Kremlin so far back, I mean, I would have put it here, right? But if you even put it like here, that really stops him from going in, because he gets shot while he's running in to the gold. Once again, if you have a knight here, that knight could just chase him off and you'd be fine. You're doing a good job producing completely out of the TCs, though. That's good. And you see, and you thought about dropping stable, you stop. I do not like this farm transition. You still have a boar and a deer over here, and you know his only units is this king. I would have kept the scout closer, but you know he hasn't made any other units, right? He doesn't have any other production. He's dropping his TC right now. So you know where the king is. You know the king's up here. Just send a group of villagers over here. Drop a wooden fortress, start getting the boar. Have a ninth villager come out and start walling. You can wall from here to here. Like, use this time now to set up your advantages. Getting the boar and this deer is thousands of food instead of wasting wood right now on farms, which you don't need to. That wood could be used for more production, which I would have entered castle with like 2 stables and just gone straight into knights. So you see and you see the stable, right? So just match his knights. Your knights are better than his knights. Him going knights is actually great for you. You can match him knights. You can even throw in a few crossbows, but your knights are better than his. But you're going a very static comp. This is a weak high trade house. And once again, you're playing scared. You're playing like he's pushing you right now. He's not. Are you in danger of dying? No. Can he hurt you? No. You have spearmen. I would have loved this high trade house right here or right here. Look at all this wood. It would have gotten you so much more gold. You're only getting half this wood line at this high trade house, where you could have gotten a massive payout like right here or right here. It defended with your spearmen. And then you wall up. Wall up in front of it and protect it from raids. Yeah, I don't like the static comp from you. Because you're going to play into his... You want to try to avoid playing to your opponent's bonuses. In this case, pure longbow. The second he sees you start making the static comp, I bet he switches. So he's massing knights. You're massing crossbow and spear, which is great. But also think about, like, his goal is to raid you with knights, but also his goal is to kind of, like, slow you down. And you can't leave the base right now because you're afraid of these raids, which is why walls really help. Walls will buy you time. Think about this. You get increased health of Rus Knights by 25. You don't even have a stable down yet. I think there's another upgrade for Knights, correct? That you get in Castle. But also you need to get relics right now. You need to be dropping a monastery and getting relics. You have 452 wood. And see, he's already grabbing relics. His game plan is a lot more direct. Like, the second he hit Castle, he went Knights, he went Monastery. It's obvious he had a game plan he was executing it very carefully. It feels like your game plan was 2 TC and then... Like, there's no follow-up from that. And yes, you should respond to what he's doing, right? Like, you should... I just realized, I'm sorry, the Rus music gets so loud sometimes. You should adjust what your opponent's doing, but it feels like you completely dropped your game plan because you saw a few knights. Which you've given him basically... You've given him map control because he built a few knights. And you could have done the same. Here's another thing. You've seen... How many knights? A few knights? Look how many units you've already massed. Why are you staying in your base? And here's what's happened. Your scouts have disappeared, and now you don't know what's happening. You should keep making scouts. You need to keep vision around the map. And when you see he only has 6 knights, walk out. Keep reinforcing spears and crossbows here, and push him. You need to get this comp at his base. You know where his farms are. I would have been walking over to his farms and getting him off food, getting him off gold. Because he doesn't have much right now. Let's check caster node. I bet you have more units than him. Yeah, you're 22 to 14. Now's your time to strike. You had this window where you got tech and TC first, and then you got the castle, and you're massing units. Go. Because if you attack, you force his knights to come back and defend. And even if... I'm sorry, I'm flipping between modes. Even if he dies with his knights, 1, you're still reinforcing spears and crossbows. But 2, you have 6 tickets of gremlins you can call to defend your base. Which is why I also really was pushing for walling. Because if you'd been walling earlier, you would have shut down raids completely. But right now you're playing too passively. Okay, now you're pushing out. That's good. Okay, he's raiding low. Don't follow. Okay, so this is an overreaction. What you are overreacting to a raid, which is his goal. This is 2 knights. 2 knights. He's already running away. You have Kremlins. You could send spears down there. Why are you moving your entire force backwards? You know what I mean? Push him. Push him. This is your moment. You kind of feel like I think the reason you're leaving is because you feel you need to go try to do damage. And instead you're following him back with your entire military. That's great for him. And also, see what I mean? He's starting to mass longbows. Longbows counter everything here. You going knight crossbow would have been your best option. And then if he goes spearman, you go men at arms. Sorry if you can hear my kid in the background. She just woke up from her nap, having a good time. See, look at this. Look how much you're doing because of 2 knights. This is such a wasted amount of time. When you could just have a wall and stop this. And that's kind of like the ripple effects of our early decisions. Since you went a static comp early on and seceded knights to him, he can now roam around the map and keep you in his base. You have to slowly follow him around, and you're falling behind while he's catching back up and solidifying his comp, because he's forcing you to go into this static comp that's completely countered by longbows. So you have followed into the steps he wants you to follow this entire time, instead of putting it back on him and putting the envelope onto him. Because right now your eco is better, but once he gets all his farms up and he starts getting eco upgrades with those farms, the eco is going to balance out. Yeah, right now he has more food than you. Especially because you're going farm so early. Your farms won't. You're on farms and berries. When you still have this boar over here and this deer over here. Mangonel's great. Love you out the Mangonel. Okay, now you're pushing. I fear it's too late. Yep. So look what happened. He delayed and delayed and delayed. And now he has just as many units of you, and they're all counter units. These longbows will shred everything you have. Once he puts up a tower, he gets the attack speed bonus. So you waited too long. Honestly, if I was you, if I saw that force, you need 2 Mangonels. Or you walk back, turtle up, and go Imperial. Because then Imperial for you is Streltsy, and Streltsy is bomb. You do Streltsy, and you do Siege. So just lots of Mangonels and Streltsy. Because I don't think you can beat that. You've lost your moment. You lost your timing. Knights come in, tap it. Yep. And once again, that's no walls. No walls. He just can run in and do that because there's no walls. Once again, where's his scouts? I wonder if he was looking for this whole time. No, he just got lucky. I mean, he might have seen you walking up. So the second he saw you walking up, he dove in. But also, look at this. So he got all the relics. And since you have no knights on the field, he can just go to this gold and just be eating gold right now. Once again, you have to chase him and you're never going to catch him. So one thing I'm saying, you're responding to your opponent in the wrong ways. You saw him go knights, so you went heavy spear and crossbow, way past the point of countering him, and then you never actually prevented him. You never built walls. You never went your own knights. You never went and got resources the opposite side of the attack. Now you're getting knights. See, you could have got the knight, the poleaxe to make their... it's Imperial, never mind. But still, your knights are better than his knights. And now it's too late. No, you can't fight that. Back up, back up, back up. You need to go imp right now. We don't have enough villagers on food. And now you're going on farms. Gotta put that right next to the boar. Gotta put that right next to the boar. That's too much of a walk distance. Get survival techniques too. It really helps. I don't like this engagement. One, you're engaging him under his outpost, so he's getting 20% attack speed. And you're doing alright, but he has longbows. They're tearing through you right now. Why'd you build the spring ult? There's no Mangonel. You're building pre-counters before you even see a Mangonel. I wonder if did you bring the spring ult on accident? I wonder. Don't push again. If you push, you need way more. You need, like, all men-at-arms. Think about his comp. It's all men-at-arms longbows. So, men-at-arms and mangonels should have been your comp. There's your mangonel. See how him having knights is shutting you down repeatedly, but you're not responding to that pressure in a way that stops it? That's not enough mangonels. You need like 3, because if he does spread formation, then you need 3 mangonels to continuously like 1 clip his units. Because you're in a fine spot. You had great eco. If you had just gone imp and towered up, you've been fine. Yeah. Okay, so overall, what do we see? Here's my suggestions. 1, make sure you're continuously scouting so you know what your opponent's doing and react based on the information. 2, do not overreact. There were many times in that game you overreacted instead of leaning to what your Civ does well. Instead of going knights, which your Civ has bonuses for, you saw him go like 1 king and a couple knights, and you went all spear and crossbow, which leaned into what he was good at, longbows. So lean into your Civ's bonuses. Have a plan and execute it. It never felt like you were executing a plan. It felt like you were just constantly reacting. Do you want to do 2 TC into castle and then push in castle with castle units and get relics? Great, do that. And lastly, know when you can't win that push and go to your next power point. So like you hit castle, you tried to push, you were too late. And instead of just walking back and going Imperial, which is your next power point, you have an amazing Imperial. Streltsy, Siege, if you do the Siege landmark, which I would have suggested, you'd have been great. And you could have built Siege and you'd have been good to go. And lastly, protect yourself. If you're getting raided, put up walls. Get the resources around and prevent those raids by putting those defenses. And then my suggestion is you really needed to put pressure on your opponent earlier. One way to stop raids is to attack your opponent, because then they're forced to come defend. Or at least the raids will fail because they'll be focused on the fight, and then they'll send their units in and you'll kill them with your defensive units. Especially your gremlins, which is another thing. You lean into your Civ's bonuses. Rus is a very good Civ. You just have to make sure you use what the Civ is good at. I hope that was helpful to you. If you're interested in coaching and more support, I suggest go in the description, check my coaching Discord. I'd be happy to coach you, or you can just take part in the other services to learn how to get better. And if you have any questions, let me know. Good luck on your games.